necessarily coincide with those of our ownership, management, or staff.
Welcome to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker, the show where we get smarter together. I am your Tech Talk host, Sanjay Parker, and I'm here with Mr. Mike Carswell to talk about all things technology related for your home, your business, and your life. Today, we are going to be talking about machine learning.
Machine learning. Hey, everybody, this is Mike. Welcome to Tech Talk 2020. Sanjay and I hope that we all get smarter together. And over the next 30 minutes, we talk about things that are relevant technically to the advancement of the human race. Is that where we're headed? The advancement of the human race.
That's the only reason why I exist.
Let's get smarter together.
So, Mike, machine learning, what does that mean to you?
Machine learning. Well, first off, I'm thinking of a dance I used to do when I was, it's called the robot. No, that's not good. Machine learning. Okay, so we learned today by machines, or I guess we learned yesteryear by machines, everything back to the printing press, the railroad car, everything. Machines a part of the process of us advancing ourselves. How's that? Machine learning.
I think that's good. I think that ties in.
Mr. Webster, thank you.
Yeah, so machine learning is really a subfield of artificial intelligence that says instead of giving a computer an algorithm, which is something that a human says you have to do, it's like a formula over and over again. Mm-hmm. It really is about making the machine or the computer be able to do pattern recognition and to be able to change its own algorithm. So in fact, programmers have said, I'm going to take away my own job by allowing the machine to input data and to change the way it reacts to that data and keep evolving over time. So it's basically a field of study, an application. The computers have the ability to learn things without explicitly being programmed.
So again, we're talking about an object, a computer, learning. So we're talking about it adding knowledge or adding abilities to its ability.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, it is a little bit scary because when we talked about vehicles earlier, learning the way home, drones, learning the way home. Wouldn't it be great if you were at work and you had a 45-minute commute and you didn't have a butler in the front seat? You'd go, home, car, or instead of saying home, Charles. What's your butler's name again?
Reeve, it's my brother.
I'm going to make sure he knows. But basically saying to him, take me home. So we are reaching a point where I can say to my computer or say to my machine and do this and do that. It gives me the answer. So is that machine learning in a nutshell or a fat nutshell? Or?
Yeah, it is. And it's, let's say we talk to Siri on our iPhones today.
I love it.
And 2 years ago, if I asked it to look up, if I say, where was Elvis buried? Right, 2 years ago,
yep.
It probably would have come back and said, you don't have any contacts called Elvis buried, right?
Okay.
Right, so it didn't understand. Today, and I actually haven't tried this, hopefully, it's figured it out so that it understands that it's a contextual question based on a burial place. And Elvis is the most common, the person is the actual person.
We'll do it during the break. About. We'll check you out during the break.
Yeah, we'll check it out. So that's machine learning. So it evolves over time. Some computer actually took that new data and it put it into what's called a prediction engine. We'll talk about that in a moment. Mm-hmm. And tune that prediction engine based on this huge data set, this huge amount of pattern matching, and all of the new inputs. And then it measures its results. So when you go to a website that says, was this helpful? When you say yes, it reinforces the fact that, okay, it gave you the right contextual thing, the machine learns. If you say no, it doesn't. It goes into that prediction engine and changes it.
Let me do some more definition. I'm thinking, let's say, for instance, you commute from downtown Cleveland to East 305. Mm-hmm. So along the way, if you continue on that commute, along the way you're going to pick up items as you go. You're going to pick up, I'm not going to advertise for any businesses, but there's a great place that serves an awesome fish sandwich on 185th Street. Yeah. So you'd see that place every time you pass. Then eventually you'd see the former mall there at 260th. All these things would come along. So what you're telling me is that these computers are able to think like us. The same path along the way, if you travel it 50 times, you're going to pick up more and more things every time you travel it.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
great thing is that you don't have to tell it. So think about how humans learn, right?
Mhm.
Imagine, you had a baby, right? Remember those days? Diapers,
yeah. Oh, diapers.
language formation, all of that.
It's been a long time. My baby's graduating from college
That
next month, man.
is amazing.
Yeah, we're excited.
So you've spent years helping them with their own human learning,
Oh, heck yeah.
right? And that's based on every input that they get. It's based on some innate ability to think. Like humans are very good at explaining how they classify things. I put all these blue marbles together.
Mhm.
I went and I took all of these items and put them in my bag for when I go to the beach, right? I know that I'm going to need them there. Humans are very poor at explaining how they did that. Well, how did you know those things?
Well, my
go
brain
together?
just worked that way.
Right.
Yeah, I just picked it up.
Right. So where machine learning comes in is, we don't have to teach the computer how we derived at a solution. We let the computer learn itself. So think about this. So when, humans learn, they get those inputs, it changes over time. Hey, we're wrong as humans quite a lot, but we learn from that.
Yes.
Out in Silicon Valley, one of the things that they talk about is learn how to fail fast when you have a startup business, because the faster you fail, the more quickly you learn, the better you become.
Understood.
Right? So humans have learned through their failures, and the same thing applies now to machine learning. So think about it this way. We have, let's say Google, right? Google has algorithms that they categorize websites. It's called the page rank algorithm. And the way it started was it used not a classification system. It didn't use keywords right away. It said, we're going to let the internet classify this. We're going to use the crowd, and however many pages are linked. When we have a lot of pages linked to different sites, we will know that those pages are more popular. If humans are linking those pages, we're going to use them. So that's the basis of the algorithm. But over time, that algorithm has tuned itself based on how people are searching. So
Right.
if people are, instead of searching for example, Google just went to conversational and conversational queries. So instead of typing in best car deal, Ohio, I might speak into my phone and say, where can I get the best car in Cleveland?
And that's
Car
classified.
deal.
Yeah, that's classified as OK Google now. So
Right.
I utilize that frequently. I think I told you how exciting it was to be in an office one day and work with Alexa. But for Google, I just speak into my phone of an Android, and it basically say, "Okay, Google, how long is it going to take me to drive to the studio?" And it'll say, it'll take you approximately 17 minutes. And it'll tell me that, as opposed to maybe before I'd say, I'd go to Google Maps and then type in the two addresses and kind of wait for everything. So now I can speak into my phone and get what I need. quicker.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And all of that data is coming in, and it's changing that prediction engine all the time. So, the way that the computers work, you have these inputs, you have these base algorithms, you have tons of data coming in, and this prediction engine, which is based on the rules that it's learning by, will keep changing itself. So
Do
then
they
the
forget, though? I mean, humans forget.
computers do not forget,
Oh, no!
which is amazing.
The apocalypse.
Well, we talked about the amplification of human cognitive power with artificial intelligence. Machine learning is a key piece of that.
Okay.
They will not forget. They will learn fast. Here's a couple of quick examples. We'll go more into it after the break. But when we talk about computers today, they have machine learning to the point where, remember those 80s arcade games? I think we talked about this briefly.
I'm a big fan of Pac-Man and Galaxia. I did that.
Do you remember how many quarters it took
Oh,
to
lots.
learn how to be really good at those games?
I wish I had that money back.
I wish you'd invested it.
That's right. I almost bought a Pac-Man machine one time. No, I mean, I enjoyed those games a lot, but I was not addicted like some of the guys I know. And then there were 80s games, and that evolved from pinball games.
Yeah.
That was a step prior to that. They had a nice, wonderful game room outside of the cafeteria on your way out of college. And there were plenty of guys that would spend quite a few dimes, nickels, pretty much quarters in there. So I did a little bit, but not too much.
And you could still explain to me the rules of Pac-Man.
Oh, Pac-Man? Oh, you eat all the little dots, and then you eat the big dots, and then you can eat the ghost, and the ghosts pursue you the whole time.
You got it.
I like the fruit, too.
The fruit was great. I remember Miss Pac-Man and Baby Pac-Man. Oh, great games. Great
Well, see, those were offspring
Yeah.
of Pac-Man.
Like
So you-
Donkey Kong Jr. Those
yeah.
are great games.
Okay, but go ahead. Go.
But could you explain how you learned those rules? Well, you just say trial and error.
I could say experience. I could say I had to spend $3, $5 worth of quarters before I could get to a certain peak and point. And, you get frustrated because you see your competition or one of your buddies pick up the what's it called, the joystick, and they would get down. But they, who knows how much they'd invested in it as well.
You got it. And you didn't sit down and read a manual or the rules of the game before you played. You just went in and learned that
visually.
way.
Sure,
yeah, absolutely. And it's great for the industry because you're pumping in the quarters as you learn. However, that's how machine learning is today. You don't tell it what the rules are. For example, they've got algorithms today with machine learning built in where they can figure out Pac-Man. They can figure out Space Invaders without you telling the computer the rules. It'll keep playing and keep understanding what gets a higher score. Within hours, it will be almost undefeatable within that game. Without any rules, without having that. That's almost like what we call, it's not quite sentience, which is when the machines become aware that they exist. That's hopefully never going to happen.
That's the Will Smith movie.
yeah. But we're talking about a machine that you could throw at a problem and don't even tell it what the problem is, how to do it. But here's the objective. In this case, it's get a higher score. And it will keep doing it and getting better and better and better at that objective.
Poor Bobby Fischer.
So
I'm just going back to that example we talked about before where, playing chess against a machine. And the IBM machine or IBM computer eventually was able to beat him based on, I'm going to call it from my own brain, and hopefully you guys out there are getting it as well, because Sanjay likes big words. But it's just experience. After a while, if you continue to do repetitive action, along the way you're going to learn. Like driving downtown, you're going to pick up eventually all the different landmarks as you go.
Mm-hmm. You're going to forget some, and you're not going to always process every piece of the pattern.
However, you're saying the machines do not forget them.
The machines don't forget, and the machines keep processing more and more and more. So
it's a horror movie, guys.
Yeah, we're really going to talk about some cool examples where it's going to help humankind after the break. But we're talking about computers learning things. Mm-hmm. This is also for robots and physical things.
Ooh, okay.
Think about that. So next year, I've dazzled my wife by telling her that instead of building a shed to get a big lawnmower in there and get rid of our lawn service, if you're listening, lawn service folks, I think I told you already. But next year... I
want to meet those guys.
They're cool. Next year, I'm going to get a robot. And it costs less than 1 year of lawn service. And it's about the size of, I don't know, 2 feet by 2 feet.
Is it like one of those vacuum cleaners that the cat rides on?
It's the Roomba for your grass. You got it. Hopefully the cat won't be riding on this because if it flips...
I could see the Roomba running into a groundhog. That could be challenging.
So this, you put the perimeter around. It will learn all of the little ins and outs of your garden, your beds. It will learn how much it has before it has to go back to get fully charged. It will keep your grass cut at all times, 7 days a week, as it does parts of it and parts of it. It learns about the topography and layout of your yard.
Think about this. So we live in Northeast Ohio. So let's just call him Rudy. Rudy the robot's out there, and he's mowing.
Yep.
What if it starts snowing?
Well, now you're rhyming with mowing and snowing.
Oh, yeah, I'm a rapper.
And we've got to have thoughts about stowing that stuff during the wintertime.
And keep it flowing. But there's I think about that. That's pretty funny. I definitely want to hear more about that process because I could use a lawn service. I've got an acre.
Yeah.
And I got no more boys at home.
Yeah. Oh, that labor market has dried up for you.
My wife does not mow the lawn. I don't allow that. I'm a chauvinist. No lawn mowing, no yard work, no garbage work for the wife. So, I could really invest, I think, in somebody out there mowing my lawn for me that all I have to do is plug in.
Plug in, sit back, drink some lemonade, and watch it cut your lawn. I think that is the future I'm definitely interested in.
Smells great to me. And I got a funky lawn, too. Funky yard. It's kind of built a little weird, so would really interest me. So you guys hang through the break. We'll be back in just a few minutes here. Again, we will give our tweet address. How do you say that? Our Twitter handle. My bad. Tech Talk 2020. Or hit us up on Facebook, Tech Talk 2020. Give us some questions. Let us know where you think this intelligent stuff is going to go. Machine
learning.
Right after the break. We'll talk to you.
It's car season at Pat O'Brien Chevrolet. No other dealer in Ohio has more or sells more new Chevys. No matter where you are, you're just a short drive from our huge inventory, which saves you time. And upfront pricing saves you money. We got them. Come get them at Pat O'Brien Chevrolet.
Your health is nothing to fool with. That's why when supplies are important, you should trust no one but the best. Greg Smolik with Best Solutions Home Medical. Greg carries mobility solutions for you or your loved one, like Jazzy electric scooters that he can bring to your home. They're lightweight, affordable, and you can rent to own.
Hi, I'm Greg Smolik from Best Solutions Home Medical Supplies and Equipment in Wickliffe. Call me for your scooter and free consultation, 216-254-4429, or visit bestsolutions.medicalsupplies.com.
Average sports fan ponders his evening.
Wow, tonight is a big night for sports on TV, but small choices in my fridge. What about Players Club at Lost Nation Sports Park? The Players Club has big energy, but small, cozy atmosphere. Big TVs, small drive. Big happy hour, small prices. Big parking lot, small hassle. Awesome burgers, big salad, lots of appetizers. Okay, that's it. I'm going tonight.
The Players Club at Lost Nation Sports Park. Yeah, it's a big deal. Small wonder.
Atlas Cinemas, featuring digital projection and Realty 3D, will soon offer reserved seating at the Atlas Cinemas Great Lakes Mall. You'll be able to select your favorite seat locations online at the theater box office or at one of the self-service lobby kiosks. And just in time for the May blockbuster releases, all 16 auditoriums at the Atlas Cinemas Great Lakes Menor location will be outfitted with new luxurious and comfy oversized style seats. And floor seats will feature full recliners to make your movie watching experience even more enjoyable. For details, tickets, and to reserve seats, visit atlascinemas.net.
Wake up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for the Wake Up Show with Rob and Al, when their guests will be Bob and Sue Fertino from the Willoughby American Legion discussing the Rock Walk for Veterans, and the News Herald's entertainment guru and assistant managing editor Mark Mazoros on Integrity Radio, WINT 1330 a.m.
Welcome back to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker on WINT 1330 AM. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm here with my co-host Mike Carswell. Today we are talking about learning, specifically machine learning.
We are glad that you're here on WINT 1330 AM. And, you know, Sanjay, let's learn together. I mean, that's the entire process of our show, or desire of our show, is so we can get smarter together. And I need to get smarter. So I did pick up everything as I drove from downtown to downtown to Lake County every day. So, but I do, I guess, I'll admit it, that I do forget about this and forget about that. So it's scary to know that the machine never forgets. Sounds like an elephant.
It does, except that it eats a lot less.
Yeah. And it won't step on the hood of my car and ruin it. So,
Yeah,
you ever seen a mad elephant? Mad elephant?
No.
Oh, man, there's some scary videos out there on YouTube of mad elephants.
Oh, yeah, no, I have. I've heard those stories. I haven't seen one.
Oh, yeah, okay, well.
Do you know what time it is when an elephant sits on your fence?
I think it's time for a new fence. Yay.
All right.
We so funny.
Back from the third grade gallery. So we're talking about machine learning. And so this is about computers and machines learning by starting with simple hypotheses. We don't have to tell them all the rules. We just tell them some basic things that we know how to explain, and we let the data come in, and the computer has been programmed to keep learning and learning. So we talked about, before the break, we talked about how that can impact, computers learning to play video games. But let's talk about real problems that industries and people face where this type of machine learning can really help us. So first thing I'd like to start off talking about is a robot.
Well, we started with Rudy, the lawn boy.
Rudy the lawn boy, right.
But I want to get more relevant and understanding of how either now, we talked about Siri growing, and OK Google expanding. So give me some more examples and show me how it could be utilized to improve our lives even more.
Well, before we get there,
okay,
I'll talk about how it can improve business. For example, if you had, say, a new employee, right?
Okay.
And they're working on an assembly line, and they're doing the same task over and over and again. That's probably not a job everybody wants to have, even though, there's some great jobs where they can do it.
Sure.
Some great careers.
Piecework sometimes or things like that. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And at least even on piecework, you can move to a different part of the assembly line and do something else, learn more, get a bigger picture. But if you had to do the same thing over and over again, every day, every shift, let's say for 12 years, and you didn't get paid anything.
Ouch.
But you never got breaks either.
Ouch.
And you had to work 24 hours a day. That labor market is probably not so good for a human.
That little labor market does not exist.
It doesn't, because
Okay.
we would burn out, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So today we have something called Baxter. You can Google this. It's Baxter Robotics, Baxter. And what they have is a machine that kind of looks like a human, and it has 2 arms. It has some eyes and sensory input, and so this has been around. Robotics in manufacturing has been around for some time.
Sure.
But it's very expensive. It costs a lot of money to program, to tell that robot to do exactly this, to go down, 1.4 feet, grab this at this strength, pick it up 3 inches and move it left. Whatever it is, it takes a lot of programming. If anything changes or there's any uncertainty, it can't work. For example, there's an example of a company that has Smuckers, let's say.
Okay.
And they fill up jelly jars. They fill up jelly jars with jelly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all done, on the assembly line. It's automated. There's machines that fill it up. There's machines that seal it, screw on the cap just right, put it in the box and everything. But the first step of that is when they take those empty jelly jars and they put it on the assembly line. They had a human whose job would be to grab that jar, put it on the assembly line, and let it go into the process.
I can see it happening.
It's because the jelly jars were packed in such a way that they weren't always in the exact same spot in every box every single time. Computers couldn't deal with it. The machines couldn't.
That's messed up.
So today, because it has to be the exact same spot, exact same everything, too much flexibility. So today there's a machine called Baxter. Take Baxter, you put it there. It's smart enough to have peripheral, sensing that you're there. You take its arms and you make it do what you want it to do, and it will remember that. It programs itself. So another assembly line worker can say, okay, it's the end of my shift. I'm going. Baxter, this is what I do. You grab it and do it. And it's machine learning. It learns from you, but also learns that, this jar shifted a little bit. I'm going to get that jar, and now I have to move it here. It's intelligent enough to pick that up.
Well, it doesn't really think. It just kind of works on algorithms and patterns. So we're calling thinking, just kind of an action. Right?
Now, I never said thinking. I don't think I did. I said learning.
Okay, learning. Sorry.
Totally different.
Everybody forgive me out there.
Yeah. So thinking is definitely, thinking and sentience and general intelligence is quite a ways off. We're just talking about learning, and there's one objective, and there's an outcome, and these machines get smarter. So Baxter can be put into an assembly line or anywhere and do things over and over and over again. Now, it's not as fast as a human, but it doesn't have to be, because it can work 24 hours a day.
No smoke break for Baxter?
Until the unions, get involved, we are pretty good. No smoke breaks for Baxter.
And then Baxter won't have any FMLA and no pregnancy leave either, huh?
No, and Baxter's replacement is waiting right behind him should he go down.
So it would be it's a Daxter waiting back there too.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So from a maintenance perspective, obviously, because you're not dealing with a human, you're going to have less downtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Less downtime from a production perspective, right? And it's tasks that now you can say, everybody will say, well, those were human jobs. Absolutely. Those were human jobs, and there's some good human jobs that will be replaced by that. But we will see in the evolution of humankind, we've always found new jobs. So when we look at the history of the U.S., at one point, I think it was just 100 years ago, there was a lot more farming and farmers.
A wee bit more.
Yeah, and we had machinery and everything. Now we only have 2% of the population that used to be in farming still in farming today. But guess what? That 98% of people who were farmers, they still found other jobs. They moved to the cities. They did other things.
Well, when you talk to your parents or your grandparents or even further back, they'll mention more of an agricultural America if you talk to someone that's pre-1940 about their lifestyle, unless there were some absolute city slickers, and those existed as well. I think that it's really funny when you talk to folks about Menor, Ohio, how it was all farmland when we first moved out here, those kind of conversations. So yes, we have progressed, and some of the skill set and older jobs that used to exist are melting away.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you talk about driving downtown and driving back and seeing the buildings, well, the computer and the algorithms will see those buildings. They'll also see pedestrians. It may also see faces. It may also see fire hydrants and note that location. It might see available parking spots and give feedback to the grid or the cloud on that so that other people can see that there's available parking spots. It's gathering data in a way that humans could never do. So the way that machine learning is used is, for example, do you remember, Facebook does this now. They do face detection. It automatically suggests who is in your photo. It's learning that by the way people are tagging it. So if Mike gets tagged by 5 friends, now I've got to...
They know who Mike Carswell is.
They know who Mike Carswell is. The UK is using that. They've got more cameras per capita than any other country, pretty much, at least in the public space.
Okay.
And they're tracking all kinds of things, especially when they're looking for criminals, terrorists. They can find out quickly, okay, who is this person? Do we have anything matching in the database? Let's learn about this facial thing and recognition. And now you can quickly find faces. They're using it for optical character recognition and handwriting, right? Taking all these handwritten texts or handwritten essays and things that we do in school or that we write, and learning how to turn that into text that can be searchable and indexable and readable.
Wow. So back to Baxter type guys or type machines. We're going to call them a guy because they're taking a guy's job. But Baxter's basically, replacing us here and there and everywhere. And we, I don't know, do we need to prepare for that? What would be best? How the listener out there best prepare for Baxter to step into his life? Yeah.
So think about automation and things that you don't want to do that, you felt maybe a computer really can't help me, or a robot. Baxter comes in and will take away some jobs, but then humans will evolve with their higher mindset to other jobs. Now, there's still going to be jobs that are going to be hard to do for these robots, but be aware that as you do your skill development, as you have that job that could be replaced by a robot, think not just about your employment, but think about your employability. What skills are you getting? How are you making yourself better? How are you staying a step ahead of this? If you're a couple years away from retirement, you're probably okay. But any job that you think might be replaced by a robot or a computer in 10 years, probably will. The other thing, though, there's some good stuff to this. Medical diagnosis. It would take, to read all of the relevant journals that come out in the medical field every year or every week, it would take a doctor 160 hours out of the 168 in a week of reading to stay abreast of that. And he or she will forget quite a bit of it. Medical diagnoses, these machine learning algorithms are coming in and taking all that information, weighing it against a database of diagnoses, results, deaths, lives saved, building that and coming up with more accurate diagnoses than doctors in a lot of cases. Now, it's not going to replace doctors.
Sure.
It might in some places, but the idea is it will help doctors make more accurate diagnoses.
Because actually, doctors are practicing medicine. They don't have it down for sure. So, hey.
And law will be impacted as well. So if you do something that practices, try to get better at it quickly.
Hey, by the way, real quick before we go, and as we are departing here, I wanted to know, is Baxter available, to take me to prom? Because, it is prom season. I'm looking for a date here. Can Baxter drive me to the ball and, give me a corsage and everything else?
Absolutely, but make sure that I am not the one teaching it how to dance.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for listening to Tech Talk 2020 tonight. I hope you learned something because our goal is to get smarter together. We really appreciate you listening to us. Tweet at us at Tech Talk 2020 or hit us up on our Facebook page, Tech Talk 2020. So glad to be here on Integrity Radio, WINT 1330 AM. So pick us up, hang out with us on WINTradio.com or 1330 WAM, WINT AM, and I'll see you next week as I trip over my tongue.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.